The Pistons survive 3 elimination games.
The LA Lakers, the 2010 NBA champions. Tatum fires away, pumps it in. 51 for Jason.
Doc Rivers has milked 2008 just about as much as Vanilla Ice has milked Ice Ice Baby. I mean, Ice Ice Baby is a song that's like 30 years old, and we all know that those royalty checks are still in the mail for Vanilla Ice. And the 2008 championship with the Boston Celtics is over 15 years old, yet a lot of people still equate Doc Rivers as a winner. And in reality, Doc, along with somebody like Cliff Kingsbury in the NFL, are making failing upward literally an Olympic sport. I mean, it's hilarious, perplexing that Doc Rivers has literally continuously been given the best available job opportunity while honestly accomplishing very little with the prior job. I mean, we all saw the news last week. Doc Rivers has replaced Griffin in Milwaukee as the head coach of a team with probably one of, if not the best players in the NBA, Giannis, a team that can win in 2024. And I guess Doc Rivers got punished by blowing a 3-2 lead as the coach of the Sixers by getting an upgrade to the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, it's literally like going from like coach to first class, going from a team with Embiid and James Harden to somebody like Giannis, who's literally a generational player. And I just don't get why the Bucks would want Doc, like, at all. I mean, Adrian Griffin has done a decent job. The Bucks had the second best record in the NBA. I mean, their defense sucked. They didn't look as good as last year, but it still was so early. I mean, clearly Giannis is running the show. He's got that, like, LeBron level now where he can kind of get coaches fired. Doc is a choker. Plus, the fact of the matter is his voice sounds like he smokes like a pack a day. I just don't get it. I don't get the appeal. I mean, his career started with choking, but it didn't seem so bad. Orlando Magic. He was the coach with McGrady. They were up 3-1 to the Pistons, you know, that team with Chauncey, Rip, etc. Blew that, but Orlando was an 8 seed, no big deal. But then with the Celtics, it really got bad. I mean, they got the ring in 2008. I mean, I guess 3.5 Hall of Famers will do it. But that didn't come easy. I mean, 7 games against an 8 seed, the Atlanta Hawks. 7 games against LeBron James and a bunch of community college players the following round. And then they took care of business to credit, but that was it. And then 2009, 3-2 lead blown to the Magic. And you could say, let's cut them some slack, no KG, fine. Following year, the Lakers, 3-2 lead, double-digit lead in the fourth quarter of Game 7, and they lose. 2012, 3-2 lead to the Heat. At home, they get Game 6. LeBron goes nuclear. Doc does not have a single adjustment to try to contain him. The Heat go on to win the finals that year, and then he goes to the Clippers, and it's kind of like that spider meme when you see Chris Paul and Doc Rivers pointing at each other. Because what a choking combination, right? I mean, that is the dynamic duo of chokers. And they blew lead after lead in the playoffs. Houston 1 year, Denver another year. And those teams were stacked, and Doc had such a, good reason to leave the Celtics. They weren't good at rebuilding, and the Clippers were that next team, but they did absolutely nothing. And what did Doc get rewarded as? Going from a team that was aging to Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, the young Flyers, Jimmy Butler. And what did they do? Blew it in the bubble. Atlanta Hawks. And then, last year, they're up 3-2 to the Celtics. They get Game 6 at home. I mean, I knew that Doc Rivers, if anybody was going to blow this, it would be him. I went to the game, support the Celtics, and Philly controlled the game for like 3.5 quarters of it, despite Embiid having a bad game. But then Tatum goes nuclear. The team completely collapses, turnovers. And then you'd say, all right, well, Game 7, bounce back. They got blown off the floor. I don't even know if that's a phrase, but it happened. Tatum had 54. Game was over by the third quarter. And Doc and Philly part ways, which is a very nice in 2024 way to say fired. And then he gets to go and his raspy voice calling primetime games with, ABC and ESPN. Now just to get the best job in the NBA, arguably. And Doc, to me, is just a dude that can't hold leads. And 2008 feels like it was in spite of Doc Rivers. I mean, dogs like Garnett, Pierce, James Posey, role players, they could provide that, ketchup, so to speak, to mask like a bad meal. And for the Bucks, if they're going to win the NBA championship this year, there is no doubt in my mind it'll be in spite of Doc Rivers. You'll have Giannis looking like 2000 Shaq.